Have you ever wondered how a man could almost bring Rome, the formidable empire, to its knees, single-handedly? Meet Hannibal Barca, the Carthaginian general whose military strategies still baffle historians and military scholars alike. Born in Carthage, a powerful city-state on the African coast, Hannibal rose to prominence during the Second Punic War, a period of intense conflict between Rome and Carthage. Hannibal, a master strategist, is best known for his audacious crossing of the Alps, a feat considered impossible by many at the time. He led his army, including elephants, over the mountain range into Italy, catching the Romans completely off guard. His audacity, combined with his tactical brilliance, came close to toppling the mighty Roman Empire. The enigma of Hannibal Barca is not just about his military successes, but also the mystery surrounding his strategies. Today, we unravel the story of this extraordinary Carthaginian general. Let's dive into the life of this enigmatic military genius and his strategies that shook Rome. Born in 247 BC, Hannibal was a son of Hamilcar Barca, a Carthaginian leader. From his earliest years, Hannibal was immersed in a world of power and politics, a world where the balance of power was constantly shifting, and the threat of Rome was ever present. Raised in the heart of Carthage, a bustling metropolis of commerce and culture, Hannibal's upbringing was steeped in the values and teachings of his father. Hamilcar Barca was a man of great influence and respect, a seasoned military leader who saw in his son the potential for greatness. He instilled in Hannibal a deep understanding of strategy and warfare, and more importantly, a profound hatred for Rome. As a child, Hannibal was initiated into the military, a common practice for the sons of Carthaginian nobility. It was here that he began to hone his skills and develop his strategic mindset, learning the intricacies of battle formations, siege tactics, and the art of leadership. But it wasn't just military training that shaped the young Hannibal. One of the most defining moments of his early life was a vow he made to his father. As legend has it, when Hannibal was just a boy, Hamilcar took him to the altar of the gods and made him swear an oath to never be a friend to Rome. This early hatred for Rome would fuel Hannibal's military career and shape the history of warfare. At just 26, Hannibal was chosen to lead the Carthaginian army, following his brother-in-law's death. An unexpected turn of events, certainly, but Hannibal was far from unprepared. He had spent his formative years under the tutelage of his father, Hamilcar Barca, a seasoned military commander. His father's teachings, coupled with his own innate cunning and determination, formed the bedrock of his military genius. Hannibal's rise to power was rapid and undeniable. His leadership was marked by a series of early conquests, each one a testament to his strategic brilliance. He masterfully wielded the Carthaginian army, using a blend of intimidation, deception, and audacious tactics. Hannibal was not just a commander. He was a force of nature on the battlefield, his presence enough to rally his men and strike fear into the hearts of his enemies. He was known for his unconventional strategies, often turning the enemy's strength against them. His early battles showcased his ability to adapt and improvise under pressure, proving that he was not a leader to be underestimated. But his ambitions extended beyond these early conquests. Hannibal had a grander vision in mind. Rome, the formidable power of the Mediterranean, was in his sights. His audacious plan to attack Rome was a daring gamble, a direct challenge to the Roman Republic's supremacy. It was a plan that would not only define his place in history but also serve as the ultimate test of his military prowess. But it was his audacious plan to attack Rome that would truly test his military prowess. In the spring of 218 BC, Hannibal embarked on one of the most audacious military plans in history. As the snow began to recede from the towering peaks of the Alps, Hannibal Barca, the Carthaginian general, launched his ambitious scheme, a daring, perilous journey across the treacherous mountain range. The Alps were not just an imposing physical barrier, they posed a formidable challenge, fraught with perilous paths, unpredictable weather, and hostile tribes. Yet Hannibal, with his keen strategic acumen, saw this not as an insurmountable obstacle, but as an opportunity. He understood that the Romans, in their complacency, would never expect an attack from such a direction. And so, he led his men, a formidable force of foot soldiers and cavalry, including war elephants, on a grueling journey through the mountains. They battled frostbite and avalanches, navigated precarious slopes, and even had to carve their own path through solid rock at certain points. Despite the immense hardships, losses, and the constant threat of attack from mountain tribes, the Carthaginian army persevered under Hannibal's indomitable leadership. This audacious crossing took Rome completely by surprise. They had expected Hannibal to take the conventional route along the coast and were ill-prepared for a direct assault from the north. The Romans had underestimated Hannibal, thinking the Alps an impassable barrier. But Hannibal, ever the strategic genius, had turned this perceived weakness into his strength. The crossing of the Alps, despite its costs, was a strategic masterstroke. It showcased Hannibal's ability to think outside the box, to take risks, and to use the landscape to his advantage. This was not just a physical journey, but a psychological one that shattered Rome's sense of security and set the stage for some of the most significant battles of the Second Punic War. With this daring maneuver, Hannibal had brought the war to Rome's doorstep. The Alps crossing was a testament to Hannibal's strategic brilliance, unyielding determination, and his ability to inspire his men to achieve the seemingly impossible. In 216 BC, Hannibal faced the Roman army in what would become his most famous battle, Cannae. The Battle of Cannae is a pivotal moment in the Second Punic War, where Hannibal's strategic brilliance was showcased to its fullest extent. Despite being vastly outnumbered, Hannibal's Carthaginian forces managed to trap and decimate the Roman legions. On the day of the battle, the Romans, confident in their superior numbers, took to the field with an infantry of 80,000, almost twice the size of Hannibal's. However, Hannibal was not deterred. He planned a military strategy that would become legendary. Hannibal positioned his weakest troops in the center of his formation, creating a crescent-shaped line that bulged towards the Romans. As expected, the Romans pushed against this weak center, driving it back, but this was all part of Hannibal's plan. The Romans, in their eagerness to exploit this perceived weakness, advanced further into the crescent, unwittingly falling into Hannibal's trap. Meanwhile, Hannibal's strongest infantry and cavalry, positioned on the flanks, began to curve inward. Like a python tightening its grip, Hannibal's forces encircled the Roman army. The Romans, now surrounded on all sides, were trapped. The superior Carthaginian cavalry launched a brutal and relentless assault, leaving the Romans with no avenue for escape. Hannibal's ingenious strategy led to a catastrophic loss for the Romans, who suffered their worst defeat in history. An estimated 50,000 Roman soldiers lost their lives that day, compared to a relatively small loss of 6,000 on the Carthaginian side. This battle remains a classic example of the double envelopment tactic, a strategy that requires precise execution and exceptional leadership. Hannibal's audacious plan and its flawless execution not only demonstrated his military genius, but also left an indelible mark on the annals of warfare. The Battle of Cannae is a testament to Hannibal's military genius, still studied in military academies today. Despite his victories, Hannibal could not capture Rome, and eventually was recalled to Carthage. His final years were marked by a series of defeats that saw the once powerful Carthaginian Empire fall to the might of Rome. The man who had once terrorized Rome, who had outmaneuvered and outwitted their generals, found himself on the losing side of history. Hannibal was challenged by Scipio Africanus, a Roman general who had studied Hannibal's strategies and knew how to counteract them. The two met in the Battle of Zama, and despite Hannibal's best efforts, Carthage was defeated. This marked the end of the Second Punic War and a significant blow to Hannibal's reputation. But even in defeat, Hannibal remained a formidable figure. When Carthage was again threatened by Rome years later, it was Hannibal they turned to for leadership. Yet the tides of war were not in his favor, and ultimately, he chose to take his own life rather than be captured. It was a tragic end for a man who had once stood on the brink of making history. Yet Hannibal's legacy extends far beyond his final years. His military strategies, particularly his use of envelopment at the Battle of Cannae, have had a profound influence on warfare throughout history, studied and replicated by military leaders across the world. His audacious crossing of the Alps stands as a testament to his innovative and daring approach to warfare. In many ways, Hannibal was ahead of his time. His understanding of psychology, his ability to use the terrain to his advantage, and his knack for turning the odds in his favor, have earned him a place among history's greatest military tacticians. His name continues to inspire and intimidate, a symbol of what can be achieved when ingenuity meets audacity. Hannibal Barca, a man whose military genius still resonates, reminding us that sometimes the odds can be defied. Despite the fall of Carthage, Hannibal's tactics, strategies, and sheer audacity continue to echo through the annals of military history, a testament to his profound impact on warfare.